Is it? Yeah, I think
And
it's
there we
true.
go.
I'm
We're
letting you
live.
all know oh, we're live.
No, spill the
I
tea
type
on
it in
the
the chat.
stream.
Now we'll never
Oh, I was
know.
just saying I have a tummy ache and I'm not being very brave about it today.
I have a tummy ache too.
That's why I have my
Oh,
wireless headphones so I can leave you guys every now and then.
For no reason. The best thing to
Don't
say
worry
right when we
about
go
it.
live too. I love it.
Right? I'm
mhm.
having an IBS flare up.
Hey, only hot people have IBS, so
That's true.
It is true. Speaking of which, welcome back to Castle Run. I'm your DM, Elijah Goodall, pronounce they, them. And everyone, go ahead. We're going to go around in alphabetical order and give me your name and the character you play and just a couple sentences about them. And then I'm going to ask you a question about your
cool.
character.
Hello. My name is Sean. I am playing Atticus, pronouns he, him. Atticus is a southern belle, if you will, but is the dad of the group, the tank of the group. He's a big guy swinging an even bigger sword, and he has a companion that is a frog. Um, his mustache is his most notable characteristic, and he's just a big old gentle giant. He's like a big teddy bear, but he'll murder you if you cross him or his friends.
True chaotic good. Ooh, for Atticus. Gosh, I didn't think about any of these ahead of time. What before Atticus inherited the family sword? Uh, what sword did he before he could wield the giant great sword that is the family
Mm-hmm.
sword? What did Atticus use to practice with?
He actually used twin blades before. So picture a double lightsaber, a double-sided lightsaber, if you will. He used it because he thought it made him look really cool, but then he just switched to a normal like broadsword when he like pricked his leg one time, spinning it around.
And that was yeah,
Oh
that was
man,
that was that.
I got too cool. I gotta tone this down.
All right.
Um, I think it's me. Think I would know by
Great.
now, but
I
no.
know, I know. Now
Uh,
it's really easy for me to tell because I have everyone laid out in the window
oh,
grid.
I'm
Well, I'm,
looking at
yeah, I'm.
the thing over here on this screen. I could have just looked at that to know that I was next. I am a person. Oh, my name is Leah, and I play Fauna, and Fauna is a human with inexplicable, well, I guess maybe not as inexplicable now. We kind of know why she has horns. Oh, I forgot to put my
Not
horns on.
really.
Oh well.
Still, like, kind of not. We
Yeah, I
we know
mean,
less than we did
we know the
before.
means. We know like the what caused her to have them, but we don't
Yes.
really know why or where for.
Yes.
And she, I don't know. Oh, she has a cat, the cat, who is her familiar and companion, little black cat. And yeah, she just joined up with this crazy bunch of adventurers because her coven kind of got wiped out, and now she's just along for the ride.
And let's see for fauna. What was your in the moments of free time that Fauna had at the coven when she wasn't keeping up with chores or learning magic as a witch? What was young Fauna's favorite thing to do with her free time?
Um, I think definitely just run around in the woods, like probably inventing all sorts of um adventures that would just consisted of her and the cat like climbing on rocks and trees and stuff in the woods and like having their own um you know many adventures but just by themselves back behind the house.
Yeah.
Not unlike my own youth, actually.
It's totally.
Surprise, surprise.
Because I think honestly, you were at the age that you were when you came to the coven. You were really the only, with the exception of your twin, who you've learned was there for a short while. You were the only child there. End up growing up. There were
'cause wasn't
some
I
people that were younger, but
basically a baby when I came. I feel like the first thing was like Peren was like carrying me like I was a little baby.
a baby. Yeah.
A wee bairn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of woods and
I think we're at Maury.
Oh boy, I suck with the dogs. Hey, knock it off. Hello, sorry about that interruption. My name's Thaddeus, he, him, it's Maury Weaver. Jeez. Sorry about that, guys.
That's honestly, whatever the noise suppression thing does, it kind of makes you not be able to hear the dogs.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad that works. That was a lot of yelling. Anyways, Maury Weaver, he is a warlock who he was the successor to his father's weaving shop and tailor shop. He recently found himself in just his everyday shopkeeping. He came across this book that has taken him over a hill and under a tunnel and through some thick, intense times with some of these people. So
many prepositions.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a while. It's been a journey. Anyways,
yeah. Tell me, hold on as I write a few little notes here. What is the item aside from the book, the tome that Maury keeps? What is the mundane item that Maury keeps on him with the greatest importance to Maury?
I think it would probably be his family heirloom weaving kit that he has had for generations in the family since his grandfather was gifted the weaving shop.
Perfect. Don't
Gifted?
mind
In the
me,
far past?
Don't mind me.
Would you say a character
every
would be
time I ask-
father-like if they were the one who did that?
Every time I ask these questions now, I make notes and don't pay any attention to it. I think Nyx is next.
I am. I'm June. Both mine and my pronouns, mine and my character's pronouns are she, they. I play Nyx Loon, the ancient, long-forgotten prime of the Court of Night. They were previously held by the Night Guard in an enchanted locket and only let out for assassinations. And then their memory was wiped afterwards. But they now owe the party a life debt for freeing them and are kind of just on a quest to recover their memory and rediscover who they are and figure out what they want to do next and where that leaves them.
I'm trying to figure out how to, because it has to be like, there's a good way to phrase this question. Okay. Here's the setup for it. This is a little more detailed than the other question so far. So I'm gonna as an example, I'm gonna reference the Hawkeye, the Matt Fraction Hawkeye, where's the pizza dog issue where it just follows. But okay, so at during like a particular mission, Nyx was once let out of the jewel only to discover that their target died in front of them accidentally. and much sooner than intended. And you still had time before you had. What did Nyx do? You kind of all of a sudden had a bunch of time on your hands before you needed to report back. What did Nyx do with all that free time?
Oh my God. See, that really depends on how much like mental cognizance they had at the time. But I think probably I'd say out of autopilot would probably replicate a lot of the little excursions and walks that they would go on with oh God. Her name is escaping me.
Etheria,
Do you know what I'm talking?
Yep,
It starts with
Etheria,
an E. Yes,
yep,
thank you.
Etheria
Etheria.
Meliamne.
And I feel like they would just like stick to the shadows, of course, but go for a walk and like observe people and how they lived, and almost try and find some kind of like meaning or place for themselves through that, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. In fact, it's very it's appropriate to the pizza because you can just sort of see like all the different panels with all the dotted lines of all the different places that Nyx went to go observe mundane everyday happenings.
Oh my God, I love the Matt Fraction deep cut. And you know I'd get it too.
Yeah. Okay, I think Peren is next.
He forgot that we had the oven on. Whoops, I could go.
We'll do Vox next and then come back to Peren.
We'll bring it around. Hi, I'm Q. I play Vox, a pretty young half elf rogue who really everything's coming together for her right now. Things are all coming up Vox. She's got her mom again, found out one of her uncle sucks, but he's dead and trapped in a weird house. Other uncle's still alive, and then also might possibly have her partner back. So probably feeling real positive vibes right now. In opposite of her normal cranky self.
For sure. And this might be kind of a tricky question. When was the last time that Vox felt this good?
When she became a naked bear.
Yeah. We don't talk about that. We don't. Honestly, the last time Vox probably felt this good was when she had gone ahead and just met what's her partner's name?
Ravania.
Yeah, Ravania. And probably like the beginning of their courtship was probably the last time.
Great. Is the
the
kitchen
little
on fire?
quiet
Is the
tippy tappy
Yeah, there's so many
of Elisha making notes of everything we're saying.
The only notes
Yeah.
that I put for Vox was things are coming up Vox. So
Yeah, the kitchen is completely fine. I forgot to put on one of the oven mitts though, so lost my hand. Terrible
just
bit.
what do you? It's not a
even
third degree
funny.
burn. The bone is gone too.
Yeah, what?
Just-
You burned yourself so bad that your hand
Yeah.
is just gone. That doesn't even make sense.
The oven cast dimension door. just
Whoa,
on your
okay,
hand.
joke police up in here. Sorry for the joy I brought everyone. It wasn't accurate enough to reality. I'm Tyler, he, him. I play Peren, he, him. Also, Peren is everyone's father slash son slash cousin. I don't know. He seems important right now. I'm not letting that go to my head. Peren is kind of going through a little bit of a life transition, as well as he's having to come to terms with two different sets of memory come together. Certainly not to the same degree as Nyx. He has discovered that he has basically been used and manipulated for a substantial amount of his last 200 years or so, and is now having to come to terms with a lot of actions he's taken where he does not know his own culpability or responsibility, And yeah, he's a ranger bard, uh, father son to the party.
Great. And in Peren's one brief foray into baking, what item did he burn so badly he swore off ever baking again?
Oh, Peren for sure went for something really hard right off the bat. Like he was trying to do like croissants or something that requires a lot of pastry folding or something like that, like something really time intensive. And whatever he baked was just like globbed together, had like air bubbles and air chunks and like some meat chunks and like I mean like he's not an unsanitary cooker, but like
Why was there
he's an
meat?
elf. Well, he's cooking for two humans. He doesn't know what's going on. So like he's trying to make sure they're like he just eats dandelions or whatever. He's an elf. Is
There
that
is-
D&D accurate?
Okay, it's
I don't-
for sure
There's
canon,
now-
yeah.
There's gonna be a
Uh,
baking challenge next.
Yeah.
The Bake Off episode.
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Wait do you eat my new NPC Hall Pollywood?
Can we just play chopped D&D?
Look, just because you got a bag full of knives,
be
doesn't
so
mean that's the
stressful. Oh,
context
yeah.
for every episode from here on out.
Yeah.
Oh, and I win because I chopped the most things.
Okay.
Yeah,
Whose
that
fault
is
is
right.
it that
That
she
is
has a
why I
bag
win.
full of knives? There, Peren.
Yeah. Well,
Isn't
you notice
it
I didn't
baking?
give her the box of marbles yet.
How often do you use knives
Ooh,
for
marble
baking?
box.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it's sometimes
The
if
way
you don't have
Vox
a
does
pastry
it, you
cutter.
use them a lot. Regular people, not as much, but Vox, all knives.
What is a pastry cutter but an oddly shaped knife? Okay. Well, given that, we're going to get into it. When we last left the group, they had.
Wait, did Maury introduce himself?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You made
okay,
me
cool.
second
I
guess
know
it
you're
for
out.
s-
I
for a
know you're
moment.
out for a second. I'm just gaslighting everyone. You're welcome.
Sean, did you introduce yourself?
No, let me go again. Actually, hi, my
Let's
name is.
start from the top.
It's just role play like we didn't.
When we left the party last, they had defeated a not just once but twice a Balak and then a resurrected Balak who had nearly all the items he needed to ascend to his full power, with one exception that he was not able to fulfill during the course of the second fight when he tried to shatter Brightburn and failed, and shortly after was pushed through a magical door by Peren into the cabin that you left behind in the Evewood so many years ago. I think after you're defeated him, the party left the Red Keep in haste, following Ravania Brighthand out a secret passage in order to get to what would be probably one of the best safe houses for the group in the city of Asparia while they lay low and plan their next moves at the Olisander Estates, a old connection of Atticus. And we're going to pick up we're starting this episode really kind of the beginning to a newer arc now that we've wrapped up a lot of Vox's initial backstory in that first little run. Atticus.
Yeah.
We find you. It's about 20 years ago, give or take a year. And you are fighting alongside a small contingent of liberators in the northern city of Oros, attempting to end the reign of a corrupt despot. And while the campaign didn't last long, you made, I think, one significant connection and one smaller connection. Not that you would know, because pictures are really not a common thing this time, but one of your significant connections during that time was a young human named Peren who does happen to be Vox's father. I think during this liberation, it didn't really last longer than a week or so before you were able to make your way into the inner sanctum of Oros. And one of the other significant connections that you made during this time was with a dwarven fighter named Burgent Fellhammer, who would one day also be the master blacksmith in the city of Asparia. I think in this moment, you are running up the stairs, Peren and Burgent at your side, having just defeated the last contingent of guards, and you find yourself face to face with the despot himself, Brant Demericus. And he's kind of this large, heavy-set, almost... I think you would immediately recognize Atticus has maybe seen one or two in his lifetime up until now, but is a faun. So kind of that, those goat legs, the horizontal pupils, large black horns that come out of his kind of wiry, bristly black hair, a large beard, very large and heavy set. Not the most athletic, tends to have his soldiers do the fighting for him. And I think as you head up the stairs into his chambers, you find him cornered and put to the sword. And in that moment, Atticus, as he looks at you, Atticus has a choice. Do you let him go free, or do you make sure that he never leaves the chambers?
He made Atticus run up all those stairs and kill all those men just to get to him.
I'll also mention has been overtaxing and abusing the populace of Oros for quite some time. So,
yeah, Atticus, as he walks up to this fawn, he's gonna take a knee in front of this fawn, and he goes, "I want you to know that all those lives are on you. And all that money you stole from the people and the terror that you brought to this community, you're not taking it with you wherever you're going. So, my friend, do you have any last words before you meet your maker?"
Just give me a moment. Let me think.
Well, I mean, you had all this time to think while I was slaying your men.
Yes. Yeah, but soldiers...
You had to know.
You understand. And a nobleman such as yourself understands the difference between foot soldiers and the ruling classes. Just hear me out. Hear me out. A small...
Oh, sweetie. I'm only noble to those that are noble to others. And he's going to bring his sword down onto him.
Give me an attack roll.
Rest in peace, the lore that Elijah was about to drop.
I know, I was like, isn't he on like the family tree chart, or am I...
Let's see.
Someone else?
Brant Demericus is not. It has not been mentioned before and is not on the chart anywhere.
15.
I think I was thinking of someone else.
15 hits. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Where's my dice? Oh, my dice. Wrong dice. That is a 15 for damage as well.
Yeah. What does this look like?
He just lops his head off.
It rolls to the ground. Taryn Winveler, standing next to you, nods approvingly, sheathes his sword, and goes to begin to investigate the room, go through some of the drawers, things like that. The gray, kind of, shorter gray hair swept to the side, small braids on the side of his graying beard, and steely blue eyes. He probably comes up about as a dwarf, maybe just past your hip on Atticus. Being as tall you are, Burgent looks to you. You could maybe let him finish, lad.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think people like that, or royalty, or nobles like that, should breathe that same air as the people they've punished for so long.
You see Taryn Winveler going through drawers, looks over his shoulder. That's why we brought him with us, Burgent. He's going to finish the job, and he's going to do it clean, just like that. Still going through drawers. Burgent just gives a little nod. I'm going to roll a little investigation check real quick for Taryn over here on the dice cam.
One of you, man, go pike this creature's head and show it to the people that their tyrant has been slayed.
Put this up in front of some kids.
On a natural 1 for his investigation check, Taryn finds a small tiny sack and just begins to go through it out of the drawers. And I think Atticus, go ahead and give me a perception check real quick.
That is going to be a dirty 20.
Okay. On a dirty 20, you see he's going through this small sack that he found, pulls out what looks to be a completely ordinary rock and just sort of dumps the rest of the contents back into the drawer from the sack. And you see a complicated brass looking key fall back in the drawer, and he just shuts it without looking at it.
Open that drawer back up.
Yep. Yeah, did you see this? This has got to be something.
It's a beautiful rock. It really is.
It's a pretty good rock.
It's
Burgent, come over here and take a look at this rock. Burgent, yeah.
Atticus is gonna go open the drawer and grab that key and look at it.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check on the key.
Yeah. I roll a natural 1. I get distracted by the rock. That is a 7.
Okay, on a 7, you don't know what to do. I will say on a 7 though, Burgent is there too.
What color eyes did he have again? Big wet eyes.
Steely blue eyes.
Hey, blue eyes, won't you come over and look at this for a second?
Burgent comes to your side and kind of, as he goes to hold out his hand, just kind of grazes the bottom of yours. It's an old key. Interesting markings. You can see now that it's drawn Burgent's attention. Taryn's going to come over too. Takes one look at the key. If you want to, you can go ahead and give me an insight check, Atticus.
Insight. That is a dirty 20.
On a dirty 20, you see Taryn's eyes light up when he looks at the key. And there is not excitement, but a look of fear that clouds his face. And he tries to dismiss it, but a little too eagerly takes the key from your hand. Oh. Looks to you. Listen, I know you only signed on for this job, liberate Oros, and I can tell you, me and the rest of well, we appreciate you. Especially you, Atticus. We appreciate everything you've done. I know I have no right to ask, but holds up the key. There's an old abandoned estate near here that I believe this key goes to, and I made a promise to my wife that if I found anything here, I would look into the well-being of said estate. I don't suppose I could talk the two of you into accompanying me.
You can't talk me into, you can't, because we're friends now, and friends help other friends fulfill promises. But plus, your wife would just be daggum pissed if you didn't do anything about it, or she'd be pissed at me if I let you do it and something bad happened.
Yeah, well, I thank you. Let's head out. And as you head out, we are going to cut back to the rest of the group. You are arriving at Olisander Estates. Your safe house. I think as you approach, you are in the noble district. So again, there's kind of this Moroccan, almost Arabic architecture to this place. A lot of red sandstone is used, not just in the Red Keep, but in a lot of the buildings around here. So the Olisander Estates is no exception. It is maybe only second in size to the Red Keep, however. While it might not have the same sort of towering spire that the Red Keep does, it does have some taller buildings, and it spreads out maybe a little bit wider with all the outbuildings than the actual Red Keep does. So it's a pretty massive estate, a lot of outbuildings here. I think as you emerge into this district and approach the Olisander Estates, the size of it alone is impressive in a way similar to the Red Keep. Are you doing anything before you head in?
Anyways, Peren, like I was saying, there's no way this can be the castle anymore. It's just, there's too many coincidences going on.
What you need to ask yourself is, what is the best disguise the castle could have except to look not like? You see what I'm
hiding in
see
plain
what
sight. Yes.
Right.
Yes, I get it.
right. So it's not gonna look like it's the castle, because then obviously it's the castle. It's gonna look like something that's not the castle.
Atticus, I think a better question to ask is what door is going to lead us into that castle?
Wait. Oh my God. Are we not in the castle?
And I think we've come full circle, friends. Does anyone need? I know we're in a little time crunch, but we can trust the Olisanders. They're good friends of mine. I don't know who the head of the family is at this point, but
Okay. I just went from feeling okay about this. I wish you'd told us that sooner. We should go somewhere else.
Well, one of them was a boy when I last saw, I believe. The head of the family was a little bit older. Back in
The
day.
boy would have been Orin Olisander, and the last time, I believe. I'll look at my timeline real quick to make sure. I believe the last time that you would have been here would have been, is that 14 years prior? Was the last time you were in Asparia. So the boy would have aged by now. I think that you would know, no role necessary. It's most likely that Orin Olisander is currently the head of the estate, being as his grandfather, who when last you left was still alive, was somewhat of a recluse and tended to hide in the upper levels of the estate. Rarely made his presence known. So you think that Orin would be I think as you're walking into, you've passed the wall that sort of surrounds this estate. As you walk in, like a lot of other places in Asparia, there's, especially in the Noble District, there's almost these Zen gardens made out of the deep pink and red sand that covers the ground in this place. There's a lot of, I think, flowering cacti, things like that. Some of the similar gardens that you found surrounding the Red Keep are all managed here. You also notice a number of what look to be simple, just kind of humanoid shaped red statues formed from sand, all kind of, some of them just standing, some of them in different poses, but they look to be comprised almost entirely of sand that's been packed together. Kind of featureless, no faces, mouths, just almost these mannequin humanoid statues posed all around the garden as you walk in.
You know, these used to have faces on them, right? Just kidding. They were always really creepy. Anyways. I'm heading in.
Nick's is going to drop Pass Without Trace on everyone except for themselves. And I'd like to go, like, briefly, without splitting the party too much, just drop out and see if, like, there's any kind of commotion in the town, if, like, we're being followed, if there's...
I think you could make a general perception check for your travel.
Okay.
You know, you took a back way to the estates, but if you want to make a perception check to see if you were followed or if there was any extra commotion going on.
So we did cause quite a scene.
Yeah, and the keep
I would
itself.
imagine parents had Amos going back and forth, scouting that out as well.
It's a dirty 20.
Cool. Yeah, I think with Amos going back and forth, you go ahead. Why don't you make one too, Peren, for Amos?
All right. I think Peren would probably
that'll kind of
Ranger
be...
brain. He would be thinking about this, and he'd notice Nyx was doing it as well.
Yeah, that'll be more information about the town, and then Nyx's would be more directly related.
Would you say perception?
Yes.
18.
Okay, cool. On an 18, Amos hasn't seen any particular... Everything that happened within the bounds of the Red Keep, which is itself on some pretty massive grounds. Even though it's in the center of the city, it is fairly isolated from the rest of the city just because of the walls and the gardens that surround it. Amos didn't notice any unusual happenings in the city. I think on the 20, Nyx, you don't notice anyone following you or tailing you from the keep. And you put down a pretty large contingent of guards in there, and completely that you didn't even leave a body behind because you threw Balak through time and not time, but space.
I'm also somewhat worried about Mira because we did leave that open.
We did leave that open.
She definitely has her own people in the town itself.
That is true. Yes. But you didn't.
She can't be very happy with us right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have missed. I think you've missed the deadline for, or did she say the following evening? Because I don't
remember. But we did long rest somewhere, didn't we?
Did you? I think you got the effects of a long rest from the moth, but you didn't actually take a long rest.
Okay.
You went from like one chase after another chase in a row.
Yeah.
A lot has happened in a very short amount of time.
In a very short amount of time. It's been real time, honestly, pretty much for the last three sessions. It is well into late morning now. but you didn't notice anyone following you. Your arranged meeting with time with Mira, I believe, was the following evening in the House of the Five Tongues. So you haven't missed the meeting yet.
Okay. Can I let that pass without trace, kind of general, like falling back and checking our surroundings, and also the dirty 20 perception? Can I let that ride regarding like the estate itself and the statues?
For sure. You said it was a dirty 20, right?
Dirty 20, yeah.
Yeah, you look over and you see that Bert has kind of wandered away to poke at one of the statues. As he goes to poke at it, you see a portion of it just sort of falls off. Hold on, I'm going to make a little... We're going to call this a general dexterity check for Bert. That's pretty good. Bert quickly takes some and tries to pat it back onto kind of successfully. It doesn't look quite as good. Like the elbow joint is a little swollen now where he's packed a little too much sand back onto it. But it doesn't fall apart any further. And Nick, as you see Bert do this, you see the statue just sort of shift its position a little bit. So instead of holding it, it just sort of goes to stand up straight and then simply looks down at Bert. And I think at this point, no other checks necessary. I think a lot of you in the group would begin to see subtle. And then you see two of these statues near the front of the estate begin to walk towards you. And Atticus, I will tell you, you are actually
ready to action.
Atticus, you are familiar with this, as you know that Olisander, it's a massive estate. And while the Olisander was once an exceptionally wealthy family, a lot of that wealth and power has dissipated over the last 20 years or so. And the Lord Edrisalt also made life somewhat better for what we would call the lower economic classes, or attempted to in Asparia, also making it less conducive to employing a large contingent of staff to help maintain an estate. So you know that the Olisander Estates is maintained by a very large contingent of these red sand automata, these like red sand looking mannequins. They keep up the estates. They host guests.
Yeah, gang, it's all fine. It's all fine. These are magic automa thingies. Yeah, they're totally fine. I call this one Reggie, and then I call this one Vincent. And I don't know if they have actual names, but Reggie.
Try to shake Reggie, like stick her hand out to be like, "Nice to meet you, Reggie."
Make a dexterity check for me, real quick.
This is the next 45 minutes.
Oh well.
Making friends with these statues.
That was a natural one.
Oh no.
You go to grab and you squeeze a little bit too hard, and from about the elbow it just sort of falls into sand and disappears like just onto the ground. The automaton kind of looks at where its arm has fallen off and gives what you think is kind of a sigh, and then the rest of its body just dissolves into sand, and it just sort of...
Oh, is he gonna grow back?
Well done, Fauna.
I didn't.
I've been holding back on us.
So this is Vincent.
Right.
Disregard. I'm sure I'll be back in a while.
All right, Vincent. We're here. We're here to put your service to the test. We'll tie some napkins around our necks, and if you just provide the rest.
Vincent edges away from Vincent.
Copyright.
Yeah. Vincent gives you a very deep bow. Go ahead. I'm gonna let anyone that wants to can give me an Arcana check.
Ooh, I have a bonus to that now.
15. Oh, jeez.
20. Dirty 20.
That's a dirty 20.
16.
I didn't get that high.
Yeah, Peren didn't roll. He doesn't give a shit. He's distracted.
Cool. I think that is high enough, especially on those dirty 20s, that these, I think for Vox and Nyx, these statues are not in great condition. You see as Vincent gives a bow, there's sort of some sand that shifts and just sort of trickles down the leg in a stream to join the sand down on the ground. Atticus and Fauna, these statues are not in good shape, most likely because, as automaton, the magic that enables them to, it gives them motion, enables them to carry out commands, to host, things like that. The resources are most likely starting to run a little dry. And so they are not as well maintained and can't maintain themselves as well.
Vincent, I know that it's been a rough couple of years, but here to see the master of the house. Well, we all are, and to see our companions that are here. Could you show us the way?
Again, Vincent gives a deep bow, some more sand shifts and trickles down the other leg, and
I kind of like kick it back in his dirt, like kick it back onto his feet.
Give me a dexterity check real quick.
Just like a light little brushing.
The cat is like starting to do the dig, like what before a cat goes to the bathroom.
9.
Nice,
Fawn is like, no,
nice.
cat, no.
What?
That's not a
No,
spot to go to the
do
bathroom.
it, cat. Do it.
On a 9, you go to sweep some of that sand back. The sand doesn't go back. It just sort of, Vincent continues to hobble towards the door. The cat looks up at you. Is this not okay? You'd see as this happens, just a hand material like grows up out of the sand and just sort of slaps the cat right on the ass. Jeez.
I told you.
And the cat immediately runs up on your shoulders, back raised, hair standing up.
I already forgot what name I gave to the other one that disintegrated.
Reggie.
Vincent and Reggie.
It was
Yeah.
Reggie. I'll remember it
Reggie's
forever.
mischievous, yeah.
Vincent's the good one. Reggie's the one you got to look out for. I knew he'd be back.
Vincent approaches, opens both the doors with that sort of long classic creak. You just the doors open. Gazing into the estate, there's sort of this large, elaborate entryway. It's a little empty for an estate of this size and grandeur. Perhaps because they're minimalists, or maybe because in the last couple decades they've had to sell more than one of the displays that sort of the decor that made this entryway a little more grand than it used to be. I think already approaching you down the stairs, you see a young man, dark curly hair, darker skin, very beautiful features, but also very, very bored look in his face. Not terribly excited or upset, just kind of dispassionate about the whole affair of hosting. You can see he's attended by 2 more of those automatons walking on either side of him as the doors open. Yes, welcome everyone, I'm sure. Welcome to the Olisander estate. I am Orin Olisander, and if I believe I am and his eyes fall on you, Atticus. Oh, Phoenix, come to engage with the benefits of the old trade pact, no doubt. Welcome, welcome. It's so good to have you here. How long will you be joining us for then?
Seems you're still as bored as you were when you were a child. That blank stare never lifted, did it, Orin?
More bored now, darling. It's been, oh God, so long puttering around this old tiresome, really. I'd rather the whole thing burn down and I be rid of it, but what can you do?
Well, we have some good news for you.
Well, things are about to get really exciting for you. I hope you're ready for it.
Go ahead and roll me a
is
persuasion check.
That is a 13.
On a 13, and it raises an eyebrow. It would have to be quite a lot to excite me, but go on, I'm sure.
I guess how would you like to restore the glory of your late father's? And he's just kind of looking at the estate around, seeing the kind of state it's become. And he's like, how would you like to be a hero like your father was and restore some glory to your house physically and your name?
The Olisanders were never much for heroes, darling. Dear old dad saw to that with the pilfering of the family coffers for, how shall we say, the finer pleasures of life. But, of course, I'm not doing anything with this estate, so if you're free to come and go according to the old pact, perhaps shall you be dining with us while you're here?
And looks at the group. Y'all hungry?
And drinking, preferably.
Yeah. Oh, drinking. Yes. Yes, I like this one.
Yes.
All right, then. Breakfast, then. You can see gives 2 claps, and the automatons on either side immediately turn and ascend back up the stairs and hurry off to different parts
I
of
don't
the
like
estate.
sand in my stuff. I don't know if the sun has fixed it, but last time I ate here, there's a lot of sand in my eggs.
You see one of the automatons just sort of visibly like lowers its head a little bit. Give me an insight check.
Did I hurt an automaton's feelings? 17.
It looks a little hurt. It looks a little ashamed, rather.
I know you're doing your best. I'm sorry. Is Burgent? Has Burgent arrived?
But I did. And with that, you hear approaching from behind you, still out in the courtyard. Got here as fast as my small legs could carry me.
Why?
Wonderful bird you have there.
Oh, okay, right. Fair enough. Wait, hold on. You could hear it talk? Wait, can you all hear the bird talk?
Everyone can hear me talk, Peren. That's...
Oh, fuck. Okay, right.
I thought that was I thought you knew that.
That's like my whole thing.
Look, I remembered like most of my life in the last 2 hours, so like it's been complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
Onyx is gonna
pat Peren on the back. They're there.
Well, Burgent, I don't know how to keep it quiet, right? Never one was for sneaking about. And I'm gonna like point at Box's paramour. The
Ravinia, right hand.
Yeah, I think before you even start to do this, Burgent is immediately going to Ravinia. The large, muscular, still not in her armor, but looking, I think, no less grand. With a sword at her side now, steps forward and embraces Burgent. Oh, it's good to see you again, lass. I thought we lost you there. And Ravinia looks down at him. Thank you for the key, for helping them, for everything. It's good to see you again. And Burgent is with the group. What is the group interested in doing? Are you going to go attend the breakfast that is being laid for you to make your plans? Are you going to explore the estate?
I could eat.
I'm very hungry. I don't think I've eaten in the
I,
couple
I
days,
think we
to be
need
honest.
to eat, and rest sounds nice. Rest sounds very nice.
I feel like Nyx is strangely in a mood to experiment with like a slightly domesticated side that they've never ever been in touch with. And like I can't recall any moment that I've actually tried this. And I think they're gonna sneak off while everyone's talking and follow the automatrons to the kitchen and like try their hand at cooking.
I love that Nyx is like, I would love to cook. I better sneak around this place where I'm
don't want
welcome
anyone to
and
see me
hide in the
cooking.
shadows.
They don't wanna
because
see
that's
anyone-
her only approach to all things.
Exactly.
Reaping
Shadows is their
around.
home. But also they don't want to
boy.
be seen failing. So
I am going to head towards the dining hall, but I am going to stand by Vox's mother and stick an arm out like a nobleman does and be like, it's been quite some time.
Peren is pointedly avoiding looking at Eva.
Does everyone know my mother?
I think Atticus,
Not
you
me.
did on one occasion. I think you before would have been well before the birth of Vox, but you did have one occasion where Peren did introduce you to his partner Eva. Eva looks at you. Atticus, thank you. Thank you for everything.
Your husband saved me in a lot of ways as well. Let's just say that, and I'll always owe it to you. Always owe it to the family.
That's good to hear. My little tornado can be known to get into a lot of trouble. So
Oh, she's a shit stirrer.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you a lot about the past couple
I-
weeks, the past couple days. Let me tell you.
I can only imagine.
But it's an endearing quality. It's endearing.
I always thought so too.
Kind of like her dad, and just gonna kind of start walking towards the kitchen and ramble on about that, or not the kitchen, but the dining room.
Well, if the rest of you are headed to the dining room to partake in the breakfast that is about to unfold, we're gonna follow Nyx real quick as they follow the automata. Are you trying to be you are trying to be stealthy about it and just sort of observe?
I don't even think that it's like a conscious action to like not be seen so much as that like shadows just are always a part of them. They're always like blending into it, always pulling and using them. I feel like it's kind of just their autopilot that like whenever they lose focus or aren't interested in what's going on with the party anymore, they'll just drop off and go do their own thing.
Cool.
So
I think because this makes so much sense for Nyx, I actually want to give Nyx in moments like this where they're not specifically trying to hide, but they do just tend to do that as to blend in and be in the shadows. We're going to give you a passive stealth. So what is your stealth? What is your stealth bonus?
So it's a 6, but I get to add a D4 to every roll as well.
Cool. That wouldn't work in pass. So for the kids, basically 16 is going to be your bonus. So if you're not actively trying to hide, it's just I think, unless you really tell
Just
me that Nyx
16,
makes
nice.
a point to be noticed, it's always going to take a passive perception of 16 or higher to notice you, which these automatons do not have. So you are able to just observe them. There's probably 8 or 9 in the kitchen. I'm going to make a check, and since there's so many, I will do it with advantage, but I'm going to make a check just to see how good they do on this. I'll roll again, but it doesn't matter. The first one was a nat 20. So you
Beautiful.
see you see there's about 8 of them. They're cracking eggs, whisking them. There are sort of these savory meringues that are being created. They're quickly folding out turnovers. There's one rolling out the pastry dough for this. There's another one that has an assortment of fillings, meat, gravy, different fruits go into this. There's this one that there's like a persimmon butter that gets prepared. They're crushing it in the kitchen right now. And I think it's happening incredibly fast too. And while there's sort of 8 in the kitchen, there are a few more that keep coming in and just taking things away as they're done out to the table. And go ahead and give me a perception check real quick.
16.
On a 16, you notice that while this is being prepared, there is special care taken with one egg in particular, soft boiled. Top of the shell is removed. It's placed in this small chalice, just kind of in a bed of salt, garnished with some herbs. A little bit of sauce goes around it, and one of the automatons takes this and leaves through a small, almost hidden side door in the kitchen, not headed towards the dining room.
Nyx is going to snag some and they're going to sleight of hand this as well. But they're going to snag just any bread that's being used, any cooked eggs, anything that's easy meals that are along the counters as they're moving. Just I'm not gonna go to the dining hall. They're used to getting their rations as they go.
Yeah, give me a sleight of hand check.
But they're gonna follow that one. And this time they will be stealthing.
Cool.
Sorry, I think I add to this. Double checking. Okay, perfect. 18.
Okay, cool. 18 for the sleight of hand, and then go ahead and give me a stealth check too, to follow this automaton as it leaves.
It's a shitty roll. I'm gonna re-roll that. Oh, that's a nat 1. Fuck. That has to ride. That was a sorcery point. That has to ride.
Okay. You are able to grab a few of the turnovers. You're able to pocket them. The automatons are none the wiser. You also reach for there are several hard-boiled eggs on the end that you just you go to palm those, or what you think are hard-boiled eggs. As you turn to follow the automaton for the door, it shuts in your face, and you fully walk into it and smash what are not hard-boiled eggs but are actually still just uncooked eggs against the door. And every automaton in the kitchen slowly stops what they're doing and turns to look at you, just palm 2 runny eggs going down the now closed door, looking at all of them.
Nyx quickly pushes off and minor illusions all the egg away, and just kind of turns around and just keep an eye on you, making sure there's no sand in there.
You see one of the ones in the back again lowers its head, and takes its bowl, looks closely in the bowl, dumps it out, and you see fully just a mixture of batter that has turned red from the amount of sand that has fallen off this thing just goes right in the garbage as it sets the bowl back. And then I think just fully steps into the garbage itself and just turns back into a pile of sand.
No, I bullied it.
Sandman.
Why are you
Yes.
guys killing these things?
Psychic
What was that one's
damage.
name? We gotta RIP.
His name was Eggsy.
That's Dwayne. And I know.
Sandra.
No one knows what kind of consciousness or intelligence these automatons carry because they haven't found the source. I will tell you, the extensions do appear to have some sort of emotional sensitivity.
Oh my god, these poor things. You bullied him.
Nyx is going to kind of
Dwayne's
stop
just
and blink at
dramatic.
that, and they feel a twinge of regret, but they're going to use the opportunity and walk over and like fully bag up the trash and like I'm going to go take care of them real quick and then walk out through the door that the automaton went out through.
Yeah, give me a persuasion check real quick.
Okay.
Just to be clear, you're gonna throw him away after he threw himself away?
No.
The whole room
It's just
of
a
these
ploy
guys.
to get through the door.
The
a 15.
whole room is gonna fall apart.
On a 15, they all stop blinking at you and just go back to their breakfast business.
As soon as
They
Nyx
all
gets
hated him
out of the
too.
door, they're going to like as while looking like to see if the other one is still, if they can like, I don't know, see the back of them or anything, like carefully dump out as much sand as possible out of the bag, like along the hallway, and like kind of pick out a little bit of the trash and throw it back in. And then they're just going to throw the trash bag to the side and try and stealth and follow after.
Give me a dexterity check real quick to get sand out and not the other breakfast detritus that was also in the garbage.
Jeez, my rolls are shit right now. They're in a rush. They're gonna hold it. It's a 10.
Okay. Yeah, on a 10, I think it mostly seems like sand. There might be a little bit of the batter that got in there too, but it mostly seems like you've sort of dumped out this line of sand. Yeah.
Nyx is gonna whisper like a little like, "Don't let them get to you," and like pat on the sand, and then go off.
Yeah. Give me another persuasion check.
It's a nat 1. Jesus Christ! I don't want to keep using my points on this. But he threw himself in the garbage. This is important. I'm gonna use it. Oh, fuck! Not that it mattered. Yeah, that's a 7.
Okay. The sand just stays there. Doesn't do anything. You look, it's just you don't see the other automaton anymore. It is a very short hallway that goes to some kind of a sharply descending staircase.
Okay. I'm going to use my feet and put cast invisibility on myself.
Cool. Okay. And I assume head down the staircase.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to cut from this to go back to the breakfast scene real quick as everyone is sitting down at the table. All the food is arriving. Your host, Orin, comes out, sits at the head of the table, sort of just legs fully kicked up, kind of reclining, lazily spooning and an egg. About halfway through the egg, he just sort of starts flicking it onto the floor and watch it. Like each time he flicks it, one of the automatons will quickly come up, sort of scrape the egg and like integrate it into the sand in its body until it disappears. And then he just sort of, every 10 seconds or so will flick it in a different spot. Cheryl at the table.
Atticus, just a moment, please.
Yeah.
Are we good to talk about, like, we kind of just killed it? I mean, I know he wasn't technically the king, but like, is that cool? Is he cool? Is he gonna be cool with that?
Mm,
And like, there's a reward for Fox. Like,
He kinda sucks.
okay, so like in a way that we like, or in
Well,
a way
he's
that
mm, it's hard to tell, honestly. Like his father was a much more of a go-getter and was a hard worker, and it just kind of seems like he hasn't done shit.
yeah, I feel like after the last millennium started, all these new millennials, like they're just terrible. They don't work hard. They're shitty. They have no respect for the elders. Like, just buy a house, you know? Like, it's not that hard.
Um,
Just like have
You
more
can see as
money.
you do this, a piece of toast with avocado in is placed in front of you by one of the
Oh, actually, you know what? It makes sense why
automatons.
it's all going to
Yeah.
shit around here. This is expensive.
Orin, what have you been up to? What has the family? What are you dealing with in trades these days? I mean, your father was a great businessman. I mean, this house was built off the sweat of him.
Give me one more persuasion check to try and get Orn to engage in any kind of useful conversation.
That is a 17.
Okay.
And that's a natural 17. I have no persuasion.
No persuasion. Orin corrects his position a little bit. Doesn't feet are still up on the table, but he stops flicking bits of egg onto the floor to be swept up. Sets the spoon down. No trade comes through here anymore. It all goes through the fawn these days. Honestly, we're kind of just resting on our laurels at this point, and whatever's left in the Olisander coffers, I expect probably will run out in my lifetime, certainly.
Is that smart? I mean, I'm no businessman, but I mean, your father. It
You
seems
and
like
me
your
both.
father. So what do you like to do? Are you an artist, a scholar,
Commit
a
crimes against the
swordsman?
state.
Yeah. Are you a bourgeoisie pig?
You see when you say the word crimes, Peren, Orin picks up a little bit. But I do rather enjoy a bit of mischief. It's much more exciting
okay.
than whatever's happening around here. Tell me something
What's
interesting.
Oh, I mean, like, what's your flavor? Like stealing things or like cutting people's heads off?
Oh, my flavor. Well, you'll have to get to know a bit more about me if I'm going to tell you anything about my flavor, darling.
Oh, a tease. All right.
I mean,
Okay.
I mean, his father loved chopping heads. I mean, that's how our trade agreement really
Oh,
came to
God.
be.
The dreariness of head shopping. Ghastly. I can't abide it.
So not head chopping then.
No, not head shopping.
Perrin like kind
really-
of blinks heavily and looks at Fauna and is like, "Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
deplorable.
Oh yeah,
Is
we
there a
haven't
big
chopped any
demand?
heads.
mm.
I suppose if it were to sort of be a head shopping to someone in a position of power, no, it might upset the natural order. That might be a little bit more exciting, but I can't tell you the amount of the lower class that I've seen. Just absolutely, it's garish. I won't bore you with the details.
So, like, have you ever left this place? I mean, you gone on adventures? You go to school or anything? Or
I'm not allowed. I mean, I had tutors. Once the funds started to dwindle for the estate, and all the other attendants left, you can see we've just sort of been left with, how shall we say it, scraping the bottom of the barrel, as he gestures to one of the automatons.
It
So
How
seems,
do you do crimes if you don't leave the estate?
Listen, if I'm being honest and I'm really showing my cards here, I've never actually done a crime myself.
oh.
Oh,
Oh,
you've never experienced doing something that you know
think-
you're not supposed to
I
and getting
think-
away with it?
Give me an insight check real quick.
why are we trying to make this child do crimes?
Not
mean,
I mean,
Peren's
this is
just trying to
fully-
figure out if
fully-
they're
This is
safe.
fully
Yeah.
a man in his mid-20s.
Yeah. That is a
Not emotionally,
12.
clearly.
Not emotionally, yes. Yeah, on a 12, it's
It's a 17 for Peren.
visibly getting excited about maybe in more ways than one.
Oh.
So
So, are you saying you would be interested in, like, getting up to some trouble? You wouldn't even have to leave this house. We could bring that to you. But first,
Just
we're
focus
gonna
on the
need
getting
you.
up.
We're gonna need you properly dressed as a criminal.
wardrobe change. That's so exciting.
Yes, Mari. Mari, why don't you consult with him about his closet here?
Maury's
a
like just
designer in
kind
our
of
midst?
munching away on his avocado toast and looks up and just mouthful like, "What's that?"
Atticus is just doing the like side eye thing to Maury and like moving his eyebrows a little bit and like
I think everyone's looking at Mari and moving their eyebrows. Like, you see, yeah, you know, if
Do you want
you
to?
Maury is in our traveling group of misfits is the most dastardly of them all and
Right.
knows how to blend in and just make sure we get away with something.
right,
And the most
Hell.
fashionable.
Yeah.
right.
Can you do a twirl, Maury? Show him. This is the fashion that is coming out of the north right now, and let me tell, we know out of where they're from, they're known for their style.
It's hand stitched,
Uh,
organic fibers, bespoke cuts.
Go ahead.
Buttons and such.
Go ahead.
With at
It's got
least one
pockets.
button.
Atticus, give me. I'm gonna call this, since it's can't quite be a persuasion check because of the amount of hype. So go ahead and give me a deception check, but with advantage because of everyone's help.
I have advantage. I have some points in deception at least.
Maury climbs onto the table and does a little twirl, and he's
Cool.
just kind of
Yeah,
he's got
and
toast in hand while doing this too.
Maury, give me a performance check with advantage.
I rolled a 18 on deception.
Fully eating this food and just like looks like a mess, but somehow looks incredibly fashionable.
It's
Oh, that's a solid
avant-garde.
21.
It's avant-garde. It's
You see,
Damn, that was a good twirl, Mari.
Olisander, or sorry, Orin Olisander leaps up into his chair and just begins applauding. Marvelous, marvelous. Yes, oh my God, this is so exciting. So you'll dress me, and then we'll bring crime here.
Right.
We'll
That is what
definitely
we-
do the dressing part, and
we're gonna give you a taste of the thing you have always wanted to experience
Oh,
with
damn it.
none of the guilt and none of the responsibility that come with it. It's
Cops
the
and
least I
robbers,
can do from our trade
handcuffs
agreement.
included.
Orin fully chokes on a little bit of egg still in it. Yes, well, I hate to excuse myself. The excitement just is really my appetite is. Would you mind? Could we perhaps measurements now? This is so exciting. There
big
are...
bite, big crunchy bite after breakfast.
Yes, after breakfast, of course. Yes, and you
The
see
most important
Orin
part
sits
is you're
back
gonna
down and
have
kind
to
of goes
go-
quiet, but is now just so you can see nervous, like just sort of fidgeting in the chair, picking at food, not throwing it on the floor anymore.
Yes, and then what you're gonna have to do is go find the finest fabrics that you have that are not currently cut into a garment. And if you find a piece of fabric, don't bring it back. Look for the rarer one, the rarest one. In fact, you should probably go right now.
Yes, of course. The store. Yes. I shall go find the finest fabric. Yes.
Of course.
And
Welcome to your internship with the League of Super Criminals. Spelt with a Z.
Just goes running out of the dining hall. It clicks his heels a little bit on the way out.
Vox takes a bite of a toast and looks around and is just like, what are we doing?
Okay, so we kind of overthrew the government and murdered the region. Are we all gonna die?
I mean, are we trying to frame him? Is that
what's the
going on
plan
right
here?
now?
Who is this strange man that we're
Just
clothing?
wanted to talk in a room where we weren't being listened to.
Oh, this is your first time doing it. Oh my God. I thought you all have done this before. Oh shit. Okay. I was just gonna like
I
straighten up.
literally lived in a house with like 10 other women. I don't think I've overthrown any governments before this. So yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, I've overthrown a few, but
Have you
you say
overthrown
this,
a
Fauna?
government
Ravania
fire?
leans across, sort of leans, is a couple spaces away, but sort of leans and puts a hand up. For your first time, you did an excellent job.
It's kind of
you.
poetic actually, because I overthrew a government with Vox's dad, and then I got to overthrow one. Oh my God, I got to overthrow one with Vox too.
Somewhere in the castle, Nick sneezes.
So you knew my dad and
lot
you
of
knew my
sand.
mom. And did Fauna mention something about Peren being a dad? Am I gathering all of that
Yeah, there's-
correctly?
oh
There's
my
a lot-
god.
There's a
Oh,
We
lot
right.
overthrew
going
a
on.
government as a father-daughter duo. That's so...
What?
It was our first overthrow together.
As
Wow.
you're having this conversation,
Oh my
you
God,
start
it's
to
mine
mention
too.
like the murder
She
or the
just hugs Maury.
like I guess initial death and then after death the banishment of the resurrected Balak. You, Burgent, who is the only one not with you when this happened, leans across the table. Hold on a moment. So you're telling me that Balak is dead?
I mean,
Hopefully.
I'm gonna look at Peren.
Gone
I mean,
might be better word choice.
Banished for eternity.
sometimes when
That
life
does leave a vacuum to fill.
closes a door. How's that saying go? Anyway, yeah, he's
Drops
not
you down
around
from the
here.
sky.
Yeah, that's why I asked you to be here, Burgent. I mean, this isn't. I mean, Blue Eyes. This isn't our first do-si-do.
It's not. It's been some time since you've been back here, though. I don't suppose you're apprised of the current political powers in Isparia.
I mean, I just wanted to help my friend, and it doesn't look like things have been great since that fucking weird ass wizard dude came into power. I forgot his name already. It was
Balak?
Balak, yeah. Yeah, I've killed a lot of wizards. There was one named
So many
Dorothy
wizards,
one
so
time.
little
He had a
time.
giant beard, but his name was Dorothy.
Oh, fuck that. Fuck Dorothy.
And he like
fuck.
made it a thing all the time.
Fuck him straight to hell.
He was just like, I'm the powerful Dorothy, and we're like, are you?
Oh,
Anyways, super off topic. I mean, what seems right to me, and I'm going to look at Vox's, aren't you the heir to this? Isn't your family?
No. I don't want that kind of responsibility. Things finally seem okay right now. Mama.
you see,
Fox is kind of gonna pull her
Eva's
in front.
also eating toast. Eva's going to look at all of you. Yes, So, um, I mean, as the sister to, I suppose, the current regent, it wouldn't be hard in a vacuum like this to take his spot. I mean, particularly if Ravenia, I know that a large contingent of the royal guard wanted to remain loyal to you after your false accusations of assisting in the regicide of Edris Salt. I mean, with you at my side, I can't imagine that the council would have any grounds for argument.
I'm also willing to put the Phoenix name on this as well. I mean, I know we don't carry much weight anymore, but one Phoenix is worth 1,000 at a certain point.
At this, I think Eva's going to look at you and sort of give a graceful nod. Burgent leans across, kind of taking the seat across from you, Atticus, but is going to lean across the table. How much have you made your presence known here?
Yeah, I hate to also be the sour sport there, but every guard in that castle watched Atticus bring known criminal Vox Winvalor into the castle and say, hey, we caught her, here's Vox, here's the person we're turning in for the reward, and then like an hour later, Balak's gone.
I don't mean in the castle. I mean, you came to me in the Sundering Hearth. How aware have you made your presence in Asparia as a whole? Because
we went to the tavern, then I got bored, then I came to you.
Maybe made a deal with the vampire.
What?
I don't think I told them who I was. I mean, I told the... I did tell the bartender.
You spoke with Mira.
I did speak with her. I never gave my information, though.
Oh,
Who the fuck is Mira?
lad, you wouldn't have to.
You were drinking.
Oh,
If
I mean,
Mira
sorry,
knows-
who the frick is Mira?
If Mira knows, then he'll know by now too. It might be best if I gave the group a small appraisal of the situation right now in Asparia. And I can give, since no one really would have, I think, Vox, you could make me a history check if you want to kind of know how aware Vox was during her time in Asparia of the kind of the higher powers and how things were run.
That was a 19.
Okay. Well, on a 19, I don't think your Vox isn't going to know any information that Burgent wouldn't share with the group now. So a lot of the things that Burgent would be sharing, Vox would already kind of be aware of. But I will just give everyone a little assessment right now of the current political situation. So, with the regicide of the Lord Edris Salt, when Balak took over, Burgent explains that while there's always been a ruling figure in Asparia, for about the last 40 years or so, there has been a what would probably be considered they would definitely be oligarchs. There's been kind of a ruling council, sort of the power behind the throne. The throne is really more of a figurehead. So when Balak took his position, not a lot, because he was more willing to just let the council have their way with what they wanted. There was not a lot of investigation into the death of the Lord Edgesalt. That's why it was so easy to pin the entire thing on Vox. I think while at one point the Council of Salt was comprised of most of the noble families, like everyone here in the noble district of town, it is over the years a lot of that power has slowly consolidated until it now all belongs to one individual known as the Faun, or his proper name is Forn Demiricus, and that is who, I believe Mira mentioned it, but that is who Mira works for. And in that consolidation of power, basically all the trade that Asparia is a pretty important point in the trade routes of Numera. All the trade that runs through Asparia goes through the Faun. And so while there are a few members of the council left who still get a say, like in any oligarchy, the most power goes to the person with the most money and the most resources. And that would be the Faun, even more so than the throne. And so I think in Burgent's explanation of this, you all realize that Balak didn't care so much about the power of being regent. He was after something else. And while Burgent isn't aware of that, though, what that was, being in the position of regent, whatever it was, allowed him access to something that he needed access to. And Balak was more than happy to be the right kind of puppet or ruling figure for Vorn to work through to maintain control of Asparia and kind of the whole Salt Valley.
And once again, the real villain is capitalism.
Checks out.
The Faun is the one who's pretty much calling all the shots at this point.
And if he knows there's a phoenix in town, a family that still abides by the old Namira trade pact, even though it's just you now, Atticus, you won't take kindly to it.
Is there, this has been a full circle moment. Does this Faun have any relation to the one I cut down years ago?
Their kin. I do believe Vorn to be the eldest, though. Certainly the most powerful. Access to the most resources.
Is there anyone who still honors the old Numerian trade pact?
Atticus, you're beneath the roof of the only family that still will.
Okay, so then probably, again, we shouldn't be here, because if anyone figures out Atticus was in town and this is the only family that follows that, you get what I'm getting at here?
As this is happening, automatons are walking up to Mori and presenting Mori with different folds of fabric for his approval.
Peren, I don't run away from my problems. I don't run away from decisions I made in the past. And I don't run away from being a fucking phoenix.
I'm less talking about running away and more like getting a good nap and like wiping the blood off of my goddamn face and then, killing whatever's coming at us.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were going to do this whole thing. That's not in your character. I should have known better. I'm sorry for making a snap judgment.
So does the thing where you like a napkin and then like like moms do. Like
an automaton comes over to also join you on the other side and start doing it. But like sand is just falling into Peren's breakfast plate as it does it.
So if I'm not mistaken, we're fully planning to bring Orin with us to go meet Mira, right?
that's the crime that we're doing, right?
I guess maybe now.
I don't
That
think
was
we want to
just
saddle ourselves with Orin. Seems like kind of a loose cannon.
he just
I
seems like
really
a
thought we were framing him for Balik's murder. That seemed
no.
logical to me.
What's
I
a
think he's just kind of a wet noodle, to be honest. And
what's
he
a
gets-
cannon?
I thought we were just getting him out of the way so that we could talk without him being here at breakfast.
a cannon is like you never like it's like a volcano erupting. It's like a cannon, like just a figure of speech. Anyways,
So Elijah, the
More, you
the
muted
whole
yourself.
yeah, I realized I clicked off it, and that makes the spacebar not work that way. So the Olisander is a family that is part of like that oligarchy group that controls the kingdoms, right? So
Yes.
it would be awfully like, and we were pretty sure that nobody saw us come here as we were like leaving that area.
Yeah, I mean,
So
on a
we
dirty
use
20, yeah, Nyx didn't see anyone following you.
So it seems like we could use this house as like a safe haven until this evening when, and I guess Fauna and Nyx, right? With Mira, we have to meet up later for something.
For sure. I mean, you're more than welcome to anyone that wants to can give me an insight check on Orin Olis just to try and clock and see if his general vibe is what it appears to be, or if he's pretending.
I got 10.
Down to 10. It's
Yeah, but I rolled a 2 and my bonus is 8.
so high.
12.
Also 12.
He's just a little kid when I last saw him.
Peren's at a 23. I think he's still mostly distracted, but I think he would probably pay attention to this. He's pretty keyed in on this.
Yeah. I think I mean, everyone else there doesn't seem to be a lot underneath the surface that's going on with Orin Olisander. On the 23, Peren, everything has been more than above board, and you think that Orin Olisander could not be less interested. Like, you are now a source of excitement for him, which has not happened in quite some time. And so you think the likelihood of any kind of betrayal on Orin's part is a big fat 0.
That's just like Peren has this gut instinct that way. Is he still wandering around looking for fabrics?
I mean, he's fully gone from the room. Automatons have been bringing different fabrics to Mori for approval.
Peren's gonna wave at one of them and say, "Bring him back." What's his name? Corin?
Orin.
Yeah, a couple of the
Orin.
automatons nod and walk off.
Is that a yes?
For sure, they nodded and walked off. You think that they're going to get him?
Bye.
So yeah, we'll stay here for a long rest. I mean, I think it'd be awfully like ambitious of the town guard to like infiltrate this place and be like, "You're hiding rebels." So I think we have like a safe moment to get a long rest in, if you guys think otherwise.
I mean, yeah, I think we've got like a day.
Yeah. Agreed. And also, I think we need to make a plan before we meet Mira because we don't have,
Didn't get the orb.
and we kind of freed one of her lackeys, and I don't think she's gonna be very happy about that.
That for sure by now she would have noticed is the.
I think we maybe need to go into that situation ready with some kind of plan.
I will say on that 23 insight, Peren, I'll let that ride to you. Feel you're genuinely safe here.
Okay.
Orin seems to be the only, like, the automatons don't seem to do anything that they're not asked to do. Orin is not interested in reporting you, and he is the only person you've seen here so far. Do we want to do our 10-minute break real quick? Cool. We'll do it. And we're just going to say you do your long rest. So we're kind of staggering long rest now, and you're sort of all working night shifts. So you sleep during the day and then it will be evening again. Yeah.
Can I do something pre that break?
Yes.
or pre the long rest, I guess,
Yes,
but we
for
can
sure.
do it after the break, actually. We'll just
Yeah.
do it after the break, but it'll
Cool.
be pre the long rest.
I will say right before we go to the break, because we're going to cut to Nyx, you descend down the stairs. At the base of the stairs, you find yourself looking into a door. It's cracked. Barely you can see light coming in from the other side. I know you're invisible. Are you going to try and open the door? You don't hear anything from the other side right now.
Can I peer through the crack first?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
God, my rolls have been shitty. Yeah, we're gonna retake that. Please don't be another nat 1. Okay, that's somewhat better. Good lord. 14.
Okay. On a 14, you see the automaton. The egg has been set down on a little bedside table, and you see sitting on the bed, back turned towards you, just staring at a large family photo on the wall. You see an elderly man, longer, kind of unkempt white hair that falls down just past his shoulders, wearing kind of night clothes. It looks like some kind of silk robe, white and gold, a lot of embroidery on it. Looks about as well kept as someone would be if the only sort of upkeep or self maintenance that they did was done to them by attendants. So doesn't take care of himself at all, but has a house full of magical automatons that will. And you see he is just staring at this photo on the wall. And you get a 14.
Do we see what the photo is?
On a 14.
Bless you, don't.
I'm going to say that on a 14, I can't remember, and this is going to give it away a little bit, because I think the only one who saw Vox take a mask from the cabinet was Fauna, correct? Who also took one of her own masks, and then Peren took one as well. And
Yeah, Peren took one
I
separately.
think so, yeah.
Nyx didn't notice. Yeah, just looks like a family photo on the wall.
Hi, Raiders, by the way. Stevie
I was
Mill Plays.
just
Thanks for
gonna
rating the channel.
type in chat. Hello.
Hello, welcome. We're about to go on a
typing
break.
Yeah, with that,
Yeah,
we'll
just
cut to our
the
break, and
worst
we'll
possible
come back in
timing.
like 5 minutes.
We'll be
We'll
back
be
in
back.
5. We'll be right back. We're taking a quick bathroom break. But thanks for coming by. I hope you had a good stream, Stevie Mill Plays.
feel like it's just red and blue. That's it. You have no other colors.
Yeah, that's the 2 colors I can do. That's the 2 colors.
Okay.
I think the overlay got a little bumped.
A little bumped.
Uh-oh.
It looks good.
Did our raid?
No.
Is our raid still here?
Yeah, it's
we
better
got
mine.
some raiders here.
Fauna's
There's
is
a few crossing
Fauna's a
over.
little out.
Oh, you're right.
And
That's
I'm a little
weird.
out as well.
It was like that before, though.
It was?
Yeah.
It was like that since the beginning.
Whoops.
I just didn't know Atticus.
Embrace the technical difficulties.
Yep.
We're back.
We are back. Okay. We're going to get back. Yeah. Nix, you look in the door. You see the man. You see the portrait. You see the automaton. What is Nix going to do?
Remind me, what was the portrait of again?
It just looks like a family. You don't recognize anything particular. It's just a family portrait.
Okay, is the automatron still in the room?
Yes. It's just sort of looks like it's waiting and at attention next to the man that's sitting on the bed.
So no sign that it's going to like drop off the food and then leave again?
No.
Okay. So in my inventory, I have a bottle of ink. I'm going to pour a bit of that onto the hinges to like grease it.
Ooh.
So it doesn't creak.
Cool.
And then while still invisible, I'm going to crack it open slowly, just enough to like
Cool.
sneak in through.
Yeah, make me a. We'll call this. No, we'll call it a stealth check still, but with advantage.
Okay. Gotta roll my extras to make sure which one's higher. Okay. That's in that one and the other one. So 25.
Okay, and you're still. You said you cast invisibility too, right?
Yes.
Earlier, yeah.
So it's strictly just like noise alone.
Yep. They as you slip into the room, the automaton doesn't look up. The man doesn't look up. You can kind of get around to a vantage point to where you can see his face. It's very creased. It's kind of these sad brown eyes that look out. So he's just staring at the portrait. And you see tears just rolling down his face as he looks at it. Give me... We're going to call this a perception check. One more perception check as you look at the portrait.
22.
Okay. On a 22, you look at the portrait and you notice something. None of these, you don't recognize any of the people in the portrait. Except for there's something familiar about there's a young girl. So the smallest one in the portrait, in the front. I think the way that the portrait is tiered, there's 6 people in the portrait. I think on that perception check, you can also tell, while significantly younger in the portrait, of the patriarch, the man standing behind, there's a man standing behind 2 man and woman sort of in front of him, and then at the bottom, what looks to be 3 children. The patriarch, or the man standing in the back of the portrait, looks like a younger, much younger version of the man sitting on the bed. So the way that your returning memories are going to work now, the curse is lifted, so you're not blocked from remembering things. It is still going to be a check to have the memory come to you at times, because it is a lot of memory erased over a very long period of time. I have set the DC. I've set the DC
insight?
to be yes, insight. I've set the DC to
Okay.
be easier than it used to be with the curse being lifted, but there is still a DC. So go ahead and give me an insight check.
This memory is fickle, and that is gonna be a fail. I know it as Nate.
Okay. Here's what you notice.
Wait. We're gonna do a long rest soon, so I'm being stupid with it. I'm gonna use another.
Okay, burning those sorcery points.
Burning them. Fuck. Wait. Let me check my resources. Have I used favored by the gods as well? I'm burning them because I can feel the long rest coming, and if we get in a fight, I'm screwed. But you know what? It's okay.
Well, you kept all your resources during that other fight before because you rolled so well.
Yep, it's not showing up in my resources. All right. Okay. Nice. That's an 18.
Okay. You recognize the girl from a memory that comes back to you. You recognize the girl not because you knew her as a child, but because you remember her face. You remember her face as one of the many victims during your time as an assassin. And it was here in Asparia that woman met her end at your hand. There's nothing particularly special about the memory. I think with this curse being lifted, you realize you are haunted now if you focus on it too much by the memory of so many that have lost their lives at your hand. But you, in this, one important detail comes out. Not about the woman, but about who you returned to when the job was done. Kind of in Nyx's immediate past, you believed yourself to, as long as you could remember, to have been at the command of the Night Guard, which ultimately made you at the command of the Lord of Broken Light, the current ruler of the Nightlands, and by proxy, his advisor, the person who was there to supervise the Night Guard over here in Namira, Calathus Ericent. But now you can remember further. And you realize when you reported back from killing the woman who you see as a young girl in this portrait, it was Balak that you returned to. Because you haven't been the Lord of Broken Light, the ruler of the Nightlands, has not been in possession of your jewel for all that long. And the person who was Balak.
Any chance we can kill him a third time?
I think yes. I don't think he's really dead.
there's you had a what it was a was it an 18 perception? No, it was a 22. It was higher than a 20, right?
I think it was perception was
perception
22
check?
and my memory
Okay.
was 18.
You don't remember anything with the memory. That's what you have that realization that you had not. I think as you comb through your memories, and 18 is going to get you. There are a lot of memories there that are hazy. But what you can place on that 18 is that you had, by your best guess, by paying attention to phases of the moon, by paying attention to where your best ways of measuring time in between being in the locket versus outside of it, your best guess is that you were actually only under the orders or the control of Calathus Aerosint for less than a year.
Damn.
And for a very long time before that. You were under
several other thousand of years to account for, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
On the 22, I will give you one other thing about the portrait. You reckon not because you recognize the girl, but because you can see similar features to her. As you can tell that this girl grew up into one of the women. She was a target for you. There are some striking similarities in her features to Vox. Not at all to like you've never seen Vox's father, Peren. You certainly met Eva. No resemblance to Eva.
So
but
as
definitely
in
some resemblance to Vox.
Striking resemblance, is this like a weird half removed sister? Is this
I'm trying
familial,
to think,
or is it like
22,
Vox herself?
On a 22, it seems like a strong family resemblance. I think Nyx has a mind for this. I don't want to give you too much with it. Go ahead and roll an investigation check for me to sort of have Nyx work out this information.
Could I push you towards insight instead?
No, because I think the moment you really you're putting clues. You're putting clues together. It's not a wisdom thing. It's a raw intelligence thing.
That's a
make
shitty
some
roll.
deductions.
It wouldn't have mattered anyways. It's a 4.
It just seems bears a strong familial resemblance. You can also tell, like, if this portrait, even on that roll, if this portrait, if you can tell that the much younger man in this portrait is the old man sitting on the bed. This is an old portrait. And you'd never seen that woman as a child, and you're seeing her now. But I think in the memory, you realize this person had a strong resemblance to Vox. I think with your own memories, though, you'd be able to put back that when you killed her as a woman, it was some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a recent thing.
Switching gears a little bit, does it seem like the old man on the bed is the source of the magic in the household?
Give me an Arcana check.
My rolls are awful. It's a 7.
Honestly, I mean, it's hard. You can't tell. This magic could be coming from, it could be just inherent in the house. It could be latent spellcraft when this estate was made. It doesn't seem, this is a lot to maintain. It doesn't seem like actively one person is sustaining these automatons. So you think it's more likely you have no idea if this is the person that created that spell work or not, though.
Can I recall, or was I given a reason for why I killed her?
Ooh, on the 18 insight.
Or any context clues I could have put together while I was there.
On the 18 insight to remember, what I will give you is that a lot of the missions that Balak sent you on sometimes they were for him, sometimes they were to enact things that he was doing for other people, to, especially the ones here when you were here in Asparia, was to destabilize. On the 18 insight, you believe that this was simply the reason that she was targeted was, I mean, you're seeing in the portrait now too, part of a apparently noble house, and most likely
everyone talking
eliminated.
about their first time overthrowing a government. Nick's
Yeah.
like, I don't even know how many I have under my belt.
Yeah, or rather,
geez.
less overthrowing and more perhaps establishing.
Destabling. Yeah. Does the old man seem somewhat coherent? Like, is he still in control of himself and his mental faculties, or is he just
you don't
kind of slipping away to old age?
You don't think you think he's probably more, with the perception checks you've gotten, he's more physically incapable than he is mentally. He certainly seems to be all there.
Okay.
And is less, it's more that he's not taking care of himself. I mean, emotionally, he doesn't seem great.
This has such. Can I, before I do this, can I, looking around, like, see any kind of, family crest on the portrait, family crest on, like, letters, if there's any in the room, any kind of, like, family name?
Make an investigation check.
Okay. 14.
On a 14, you see at the bottom of the portrait, etched into the frame, House Olisander and House Windvalor.
I think Nyx has a moment where they almost, they could be seen, thought about doing something, acting on their own, then remembered, like, anything I do now is going to come back on the party. Specifically, it's going to come back on Peren. And I think they're going to try, as quietly as they entered, to exit, and go try and find the others.
Yeah, stealth check rides. You're able to get out, and you leave the room exactly as you found it. Automaton standing at attention next to the man gazing at the portrait. And you return to the group in time for the dispersal of everyone going to have their long rest. I think if you want to, you're able to convey this information so they knows. I don't know if that will change, knowing that there's this old man now, if that changes anyone's intent on the long rest.
I believe Nyx will try in as vague of a answer as possible, like convey that this seems to be a descendant of Vox, and possibly, like, related somehow through marriage, maybe, to the Olisanders as well. Or something.
Are you telling the whole group, including Eva?
Fox is not going to be quiet about it. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, earlier
Fox
didn't
would just
we
blurt it out anyways.
there was the thing about the grandfather of the family who's like a recluse, right? Or did only Atticus know that?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Did we all hear about that, or was that just like an Atticus?
I think it was something that Atticus knew. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you come back to report that,
Next, we'll leave out the part where she killed a relative, but we'll report everything else.
All right, where is this kid? Bring him back in.
Is that enough for me to connect the dots on what Nyx is saying?
I think the information that you're given, you would. There's no reason for Eva to withhold information too that, and so I think when Nyx comes back to tell the group this, Eva would also be forthcoming with some information, which I'm just going to just sort of like lay out as quickly as I can, which is that Eva would acknowledge that, and would probably give you the rest of the information, that who you saw was Grace Windvlor, Peren's mother, and Vox, that would make her your grandmother. So the young girl in the portrait and House Olisander and House Windvlor were long aligned, two families that had come together, but broke apart. About 10 years before Grace was killed. As far even like Peren was very young when his mother died. As far as she knows, it was in a conflict that had to do with a falling out among the Council of Salt. So one of the only noble families or houses to object to what the council was doing was the House of Windvlor. So it would have been Vox's dad or Vox's grandmother, Grace Windvlor, and that caused a separation of the Olisander family and the Windvlor family. But yeah, Eva would be forthcoming with all of that, for sure.
Well, so does that mean that we still technically have seats open on the council?
Yeah, Eva's gonna leave. Unfortunately, when the council loses a seat, it falls off. They don't tend to replace missing members. That's how the Fawn has been able to consolidate his power. Is the only seats left in the council are ones that wouldn't dare to oppose him.
Back to square one then. Okay.
And as you say this, one of the automatons is just they're like fully dragging Orin back to the room as he's still just ripping through, holding this giant pile of silks, ripping through it to find the right color.
Atticus, do you trust me if I try something? All right.
Yep.
Be ready to, do what you're best at. Peren is going to cross the room, and he is going to smash one of his 4 flagons of spell potions right onto the kid's chest, and that contains Zone of Truth.
This is a 25-year-old man, just for clarification.
Right, but Peren is 700.
It's okay. So on.
He doesn't get with the riz that these kids have.
Itty bitty baby's chest.
On this infant child's, he slams it into this young adult, fully grown adult's, slams one of his potions, which contains Zone of Truth, and he is going to grab both sides of this man's face and get uncomfortably close, and he's going to say,
God, that's exhilarating. I feel like
listen,
I could say anything.
You can say anything, and you have a
Or very
charisma
few
saving
things.
throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, a charisma saving throw to make.
Great.
I guess up to anybody else who's
that's a
within
7 on the
15
dice.
feet?
He's not going to make it. It's a 9 total.
It's a 15-foot sphere.
Oh no.
I also failed it.
Oh, I have to make a. Oh, because I would have just followed you. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Aren't we all close to him?
I
Maybe not
think the
within
room's
15
bigger than
feet.
15
Yeah.
foot. It's a 15-foot sphere, so it hit him, so you'd have to be standing within 7.5 feet of him.
Yeah, it'd only be
Okay.
anyone who
I
followed
think Vaughn is
Peren.
probably still sitting at the table.
Anyone else close?
Or I guess no, we went. Did we long rest yet or not?
I'll
long
do
rest?
one
No,
just
this
for
is
shits and giggles.
Just before.
I rolled a
Yeah,
4.
this long rest hasn't happened yet.
Did you say it was a charisma save?
Whamp, whamp, whamp. I rolled a 1.
I rolled a 7.
Where are you?
So, if anyone got up to
dirty 20.
follow Peren, the dirty 20 definitely saves. If anyone got up to follow Peren and is standing right there, this would affect you. Otherwise, you're good. Hold on, I'm gonna roll a saving throw also for the automaton that.
Peren as the caster knows everybody who failed or
Cool. Perfect.
succeeded.
You know that the
But
automaton
everybody
failed. Everyone that is within the sphere with you failed. The automaton failed too. You see immediately reaches into its torso and begins removing fine silverware that it is stashed away in there and just placing it on the floor.
What was I gonna do with it? Peren gets uncomfortably close to his face, and he says, "All right, I need you to listen really closely.
Yes, anything, of course.
Balak is gone. We did it. This is Vox. Vox did not kill the king. We just overthrew
that
the
one.
government. So your crime
Quiet, Vox.
Your crime is that we are going to now maintain this kingdom under a new ruler. Can we trust you, or do we need to cut off your head? Be honest."
My,
Oh, harsh.
I rather like my head, and I can. On top of all this.
Right, but can we trust you?
A
Will you
regime
help us?
change.
Will you betray? Yes.
God, it's exciting. There
He'll
hasn't
do
been
it.
a
I saw him
shakeup
smash.
like this.
I saw him smash his head in. He's not playing. I'm sorry. I think some of that got on me. It did
Yeah.
get on me.
No, yeah, it did. I mean, I for sure got on me too. Like, I'm ashamed of how I failed the people who I considered my daughters. It was my fault that they suffered.
That all sounds so emotionally devastating. Listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, and grabs your face. This all sounds like the most exciting thing that has happened to me or this estate in quite some time.
Right.
I'm absolutely thrilled to be a part of all this.
Okay. Can we trust you, or are you gonna fuck this up in some really obvious way that we should have looked out for?
Definitely the second one.
Well, excuse me, miss. I can promise you, I know when to spill tea and when to keep it to myself.
Okay.
Prove it. Tell us your deepest, darkest secret right now.
I couldn't tell you exactly how many, but I would imagine that I've fucked at least 93% of the automatons in this house at any given time over the last 7 years.
Did they consent?
Say, do they have a specific area, or you just
Do they have?
Oh,
stick it in anywhere?
they have all kinds of areas you would not believe. You would not believe. Just listen, stop me whenever you want.
Oh shit. Oh shit. I feel uncomfortable, but I think they're being truthful.
Okay, two other things. Jesus, that was... Vox, I didn't leave you to die. I tried to save you.
Yeah, I kind of know that, but you're just still such a dick sometimes. So I'm sorry. I just gotta go with
Fair.
it.
I am
Are
a
we just
dick
all
frequently.
being honest right now?
Well, no, I just wanted to get some things off my chest, you know. Atticus, there's something else. Um, I've done a lot of terrible things. I've caused a lot of terrible things to happen. We cut that one for a second. I've caused a lot of terrible things to happen. I think I want to be better because I'm seeing now how all the things I chose led me to where I am. And I've seen what you've done with Bert, and I would like to pledge myself, and he kneels. I'd like to pledge myself to you as your squire. I want you to teach me how to be a Knight of the Phoenix. I think we all need that a little bit. I want you to show us what to do, and I think you should lead us because we have all been tied into something bigger than ourselves, and we can't control what's happening. And we have been controlled for me hundreds of years of my life now, and I don't think it's over. I don't think shoving Balak through that door ended any of this. I would like to be a Knight of the Phoenix because I think you know when you feel good about something and when you don't. I've done a lot of things I don't feel good about.
Atticus is just like, I don't have words. I don't have words, Peren, because I see you as someone who tries to do the right thing, and life gets in the way sometimes. But I I sure don't I shit don't have all the answers, but I think with me helping you, you're gonna help me too. And he's gonna pull out his sword, and looks like another one's joined the pack, Bert. And he's gonna
Golly. Bert's just wiping away tears over at the dinner table.
Peren, I welcome you to the Knights of the Phoenix, and just get up and give me a hug.
Peren gives him a hug.
Peren, go ahead and roll me a persuasion check real quick, and you have inspiration on this if you want to use it.
Roll
Maury's going
athletics
burst
to
out.
hug.
Am I persuading him with my hug? That is a 22.
On a 22, as you're saying these words, and you write, both Orin and the automaton, they're next, both also kneel down.
Maury begins clapping.
Fauna also claps.
Well, shit. I mean, I literally have to be honest right now. I think Peren's much better well equipped to be a knight than both of you, but we can get there. And
Squire, I'll take anything. Just this.
He's gonna knight both of them. And what's this automaton's name? No more fucking these sand automatons, okay? First and foremost, that's your first lesson as a squire.
First order of knighthood, chastity. I shall take my vows of chastity right now.
Oh wait, hold on. Wait, what?
You hear that, Peren?
Wait,
you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
I don't think it's chastity. Just don't fuck any automatons that are made out of sand, and you're good.
Right.
You'd see it's too late. Orin is already making up some kind of like self-made like oath as he swears himself it. The automaton, you see for the first time on the features, a mouth appears.
Whoa.
On the face of the automaton. When we were formed, the Olisanders never gave us a name.
What do you want your name to be?
We shall choose our own name.
I think that's fair.
then we will be known as the Burning Sands.
Can we call you Bernie for short?
Literally what I was going to ask.
This would also be acceptable.
All right.
Cool. Super cool.
Well, you are all inducted into squirehood with the promise of becoming Knights of the Phoenix.
Bert in the back. Here.
Wow, I'm feeling like really good right now. Like, wow. All right, well,
Do we have to go kill someone and like bathe in their blood, or maybe
there
we should
was
all
I
there was a
believe-
whole
maybe get some sleep.
yeah, there was a
I
whole
believe-
ritual back in St. Florian, but if that's for knighthood. So once we get there, if we ever get there, then that's where we'll be knighting all of you. But for now, sleep sounds really good.
Yeah, before the long rest, I think as part of the long rest, we'll kind of give everyone a little moment to showcase what they're doing during them. But does anyone have anything that they want to do before they head off to the provided quarters?
As
I have
Peren
a
walks,
question.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. You can go ahead.
as
Peren,
as
first.
Peren walks out, he picks up a bottle of wine and then stops, looks at it, and sets it back on the table.
Oh,
Wow. Yeah, I am going to collect all my squires and be like, I guess for first lesson in knighthood, and he's gonna like reach into his like armor and pull out this like just tattered book, like blood soaked, like eaten to shit, and he's like, we're gonna go over the tenets of the Phoenix Knights, and we're gonna start with the first lesson.
Peren is slightly jockeying to stand in front of Bert.
Go ahead and give me. We're gonna do a contested athletics check right here. This is very important.
That's a flat 8.
Okay. Bert got is a -2 strength, which evens out to an even score for athletics, and rolled a natural 12. So Bert is still going to edge his way into the front. I mean, fully like almost less than half your height, though.
Atticus
He's not
is-
in Peren's way. Peren just wanted to be in his.
Yeah. Atticus is gonna notice this, and you're gonna see his fingers at the top of the page, and he like notices this, and he's gonna go down like 4, and he goes, or this seems like the first lesson we're gonna do. Each one of us is walking our own path, whether it's the farms.
Each one of us is walking our. Oh, you just tell.
Just listen. Each one of us is walking our own path. We're all from different times, from a specific place, whether it be the farm, the big city, or a town not from around here. And our challenges are unique. As Knights of the Phoenix, understanding and respecting our distinctive pizzazz, as you would say, is vital to our ability to harness our collective strength. The use of force may be necessary to protect in an emergency, but only justice, fairness, and cooperation can truly succeed in leading men. We must live and work together as brothers, sisters, siblings, or perish together as fools.
Okay. What was that bit about not using violence?
Damn.
Maury's going to be walking out of the room, picking up with a bunch of linens in his hands, and Mage hands the bottle of wine Peren set down and head out the door as Atticus goes into this speech.
Once more seeming to appear out of nowhere, and almost hiding in Atticus's shadow, Nyx is going to slide in and this might help you read a little bit better, and is going to pass over his restored reading glasses. Sorry, my dog is coughing. You okay?
Thank you so much. I had to like recite half of that from memory, and like I don't know. Thank you. And he's gonna like slide that in and like give a big smile.
I'm hanging on to them for a pretty long time.
Anna's just still eating avocado toast. She's like, night stuff, whatever.
Peren makes eye contact and gives her like a big thumbs up.
She gives him like a great
It's good.
job.
You're growing. You need to keep up your nutrition, he says to this fully adult woman.
Atticus, as you are delivering these tenants, go ahead and give me a perception check.
That is a 12.
Okay. Actually, Peren is there. Peren can also give the perception check.
Can I retroactively bestow some guidance on Atticus as I'm like passing over the glasses and he's like
for sure
instructing his squires?
For sure, yes. As you, in fact, you giving the glasses, I'm going on the perception check. I'm going to let you pass on guidance, and because of the glasses advantage.
Okay.
21 for me.
Okay.
Nice.
And then what's the die for guidance?
D4.
Okay. That brings me up to a 16.
Okay. On the, we're going to do Peren's first, because Peren, you notice something that Atticus does not. The dining room that you're standing in is kind of up on the second level of these estates, and there are just some enormous floor-to-ceiling windows at the far end that look out on the front of the estate. You see, as these tenants of knighthood are delivered, you see every automaton that was in the entrance when you first arrived also bowed down on one knee.
Oh, so they're like a little hive mind? Oh boy.
Hence the
We just-
when it
we
was
just
referring to itself as we.
I thought it meant the individual grains of sand in that entity. I thought it was like...
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Can I make a perception or investigation or whatever to see if any of them have trash in them?
Yeah.
I want to see if they got lighted too.
If any carries an aura of shame about them.
Is that what perception or investigation? Do you care?
Perception.
Okay. Fuck. It's shitty anyways. It's 10.
You don't notice that any in particular has trash on it. Peren, you got a 22 there. Because is Nyx leaving the kind of the room after giving back the glasses and heading off to take a long rest as well?
No, I think they're actually going to kind of drift around the party. They do head into like an area of shadow and kind of like lean more towards the back, but they're still observing and being a part of it.
Okay. Peren, on the 22, as you look back, you see Nyx sort of do their Nyx thing and dissolve into shadow around the party nearby, but not necessarily intimate with the party yet. You see what just looks like a few little grains of sand that follow in Nyx's shadow. Atticus, on the 16, you're entirely focused on giving your first of the tenets of knighthood to these newly pledged Phoenix Knights. On the 16, as you finish delivering it, sort of settle those glasses back onto the nose and look around. People are leaving the room. You see Maury mage hand that bottle of wine that Peren set down into his own as he leaves with Orin, who's getting up and following Maury out with the fabric. You see Burgent give you a long look and then pick up another one of the bottles of wine at the table, and you see a slight slump to his shoulders as you're sort of finishing delivering the tenants, and he walks out another door.
I'm gonna go after Burgent.
Okay, we'll wait here. Should we go to bed?
Ponder what the meaning of what I just said was, and
Do
you have an answer for me?
No.
Then that tenant will be completed in your mind.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, you should go to sleep.
Okay, can I still do things without you telling me, or do I always wait for you to tell me?
You don't have to.
I don't know. Right, got it.
No, you don't have to wait on my beck and call. That's not the type of knight I am to bark and order people around. You're a free person. Do what you want.
He always makes me finish my potatoes, though.
Well, that's because you're small and you need all those carbs to fill in
I'm not
that
small.
empty...
I'm the biggest toad I've ever met.
Well, you got me there. I have not seen a toad as big as you. Well, I'm stumped.
Well, I got to thank you for that, though. Probably on account of all them potatoes.
At least I know I'm doing something right. And he's gonna...
Bert's gonna lean in close to you, Peren. He's not very good at cooking potatoes.
No, I don't think... What is that?
Potatoes or cooking?
No, the potatoes.
Potato.
Is that a kind of wine? Or an ale?
Was that a part of the things that Nyx stole from the kitchen?
A potato?
Yes.
Let's roll. You roll a little luck check for me.
Okay, what? Just flat D20?
Yep, flat D20. You're looking for an 11 or higher.
That's an 8, so no.
Nope, no potatoes.
I only know how to boil, mash them, or stick them in a stew.
All right, well, I'm gonna go to bed.
Copyright.
How do you like your rabbits?
Fauna, don't stay up late.
Oh shoot, Fauna's muted.
Where's your mic?
I was holding my thing upside down, so I thought I was unmuting when I was muting. Fauna's just like, yeah, okay, and, rolls her eyes. But oh, go ahead.
Donna is, yeah.
I was just gonna say the cat's basically fallen asleep on the table, on somebody's plate, it was eating all of the food of all the plates that people had left, and it just fell asleep in the eggs. So she gathers the cat up and also starts to leave the table to go find somewhere to sleep.
What are we doing? Where are we going? Is everyone done
It's
talking?
time for bed. It's time for bed now.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm awake, so you go to bed, and I'm going to wander around.
This is my life. All right, well, just try not to get into too much trouble, okay?
Okay.
Okay, good.
I love
No,
the multi-generational...
no winking.
No winking.
No winking.
No winking.
No winking.
No winking.
No getting into trouble.
No getting into trouble.
Okay, I'll see you when I'm awake. No, don't get into trouble.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Okay.
This
right.
multi-generational overparenting that's happening now, where parents like go to bed, and Flana's like, Also, cat, go to bed. And the cat's like, sure.
Also, I feel like Fauna kind of feels also like she's Peren's parent in return, because Peren's just a mess because he's had so much trauma. So she also kind of feels like she's like the more mature one, but then also still like looks up to him as if they're like co-parenting each other.
Yeah, there's a term for that. It's codependency.
Fantastic. All the things those lost memories unearthed.
Listen, a lot of trauma happened for everybody.
Codependency parenting?
Yes.
All right. As everyone heads off to their particular long rest, we're going to close out the session with one last little thing. Atticus, it is several days after Peren requested that you and Burgent accompany him to the nearby, what he has informed you is just the Moorgrasp estate, or Moorgrasp Tower. Upon arrival, it's in a general state of, this is an abandoned tower. No one has lived here for quite some time. You can see the tower itself is actually partially collapsed. Peren is not necessarily forthcoming with what his concerns are or what Eva had asked him to check in on. But, you're able to observe him. I think once you arrive, he spends the afternoon and some of the evening sort of picking over the ruins. The door is locked still. You see that Peren doesn't bother to use the key on it. It's just almost like he's checking in to make sure that something is still secure. If you had to guess, it's what seems like he's doing. And I think as evening comes, night falls, Peren has already told you he might not return that night. He intends to ride through the night to get back to Eva, and does a hard ride and insists, since he's going in a different direction from you and Burgent, who are not going to Asparia yet, you have a different set of directions that you are headed to, I think, further east in the Salt Valley. Peren bids you goodbye, and you and Burgent, in the cold, a little sort of canvas tent that you've set up to protect you from the wind outside has this opening at the top too, so you're actually able to make a small fire inside the tent to keep you warm, which is what you need up here in Oros. As Burgent is sort of assembling the kindling for the fire, he looks across to you. You're awfully handy to have in a pinch. I'm glad Peren could convince you to come with us. He certainly made short work of that fun back in Oros.
Well, let's just say I didn't do it really out of the kindness of my heart. If you were going, who am I to say? I wasn't inclined to stay another couple days with this group.
with the weather up here being like what it is, I know you come from the South Green.
Well, from my point of view, it's actually a little warmer than St. Florin in this tent with this fire going. Wouldn't you agree?
Give me an insight check.
That would be a dirty 20.
Burgent is not nervous around you, but you sense there is some kind of a hesitancy. He's, the fire's just started to crackle, and he observes you for a moment. Atticus, listen, I'm not the young dwarf that I once was. And I know you haven't told me everything about your condition, but from what it sounds like, you'll be a young man your entire life. And your life bound to last a lot longer than mine. Eventually, I'm just
You can say it.
I'm just gonna slow you down.
Do you ever just you ever just think about how we don't need to have all of it figured out? Like, where's it going? Where's it ending? Where am I going to be in 5 days, 5 years, 10, 15, 100? Shit. I've gotten really good at accepting the now for what it is. And right now, you're the only person I want to be with. Tomorrow could be a different story. 5 years can be a different story. But I've gotten pretty good at just living in the moment. That sounds like a problem. Shit. Well, it sounds like a problem for tomorrow, Burgent, or a week from now, Burgent, or a year from now, Burgent. That doesn't sound like a right now Burgent problem.
Well, I suppose as a blacksmith, I'm used to getting burned anyway. And Burgent's gonna lean in to kiss you.
Kiss him back.
I think as this happens from the outside of the tent, the Phoenix House doesn't claim to wield power over flame, but they are at times resurrected by it, and even from a far distance through the haze of snow and wind in the cold northern country just outside of Oros, you can see the glow of the tent as the fire burns brighter than usual. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Whew. I'm sweating.
It's on account of the very small tent and the very large fire.
No.
Is the fire
everyone for
in the
tuning in.
tent?
We'll,
Bad idea.
No, that's because there's like a hole. It's specifically
Oh, it's like a
constructed.
big tent.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got
Yes.
it.
Specifically constructed to.
Ooh, Burgent's gonna be pissed next episode when we talk about that because it's been some time.
It's been some time. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.